Oh.
Okay, so we should be live. It's most bizarre for us. This is the first time we have properly used this function on StreamYard. So if you are joining, please give us a comment. I'm not sure that we see the likes because, as many of you might know, if you've seen a live on StreamYard before, doesn't feed through your name, and it also doesn't feed through your reactions, which is a bit of a shame. So there is a way that you can give StreamYard permission to allow you to post, but that needs another step, and we don't obviously want to lose you. So firstly, good morning. It's 10:30 Thursday, so this is my regular chat with T and with Kirsty with T. So let me introduce you to Kirsty. Kirsty has been in my world for, it must be getting on for 2 months, possibly even getting on towards 3 months now.
I guess it is, yeah.
Yeah, it's longer than we thought, isn't it? And we actually met via a different group, if I remember rightly. So I did a guest presentation into another Facebook group, and you were part of that, and kind of came across into my world like a textbook ideal client would do. Exactly. So we are literally just going to have a chat today about coaching, how Kirsty feels about coaching, and what is fabulous to have her expertise is that she is actually a life coach herself. So she's got very much both perspectives on the coaching arrangements. So we're going to have a chat. I've got a few things I'm going to ask Kirsty to move the conversation along, but if you've got anything that you want to ask me, you want to ask Kirsty as we go, or it prompts a thought, oh yeah, I wonder what that means, or then please pop it into the comments and I will read them out to make sure that that we cover that as well. We have one person now watching. Hoorah, that's good. That hopefully says that we are definitely live. It's definitely working. If anyone was in the group and in and out of the group yesterday, you'll have seen us just constantly in and out, and then I tested Zoom and sat there for like a couple of minutes just looking, thinking what's going to happen. So it is working. We are live. So Kirsty, let's just start off then with just exploring what initially. Yes, we have, and Emma, I can see who you are. Good morning to us both. Yes, fabulous. So it all works brilliantly. Okay, so Kirsty, first off then, what first sparked your initial interest in coaching? What got you gravitated towards it from either perspective, to be one or to be coached?
It was totally random, actually. It wasn't something that was ever really appealed to me. I sort of thought that was for executives and leaders and all very corporate. But shortly after I was made redundant towards the end of 2016, a friend of mine was starting her own training and coaching business and offered me a free place on her first ever NLP course. And it was sort of, I don't even know what that is, but I've got time and it's free. Why not?
So you were almost a guinea pig then for her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I had no idea what to expect. And I found it absolutely fascinating, more from a personal growth perspective in coaching. But not long after that, I started another job, and that all sort of went by the by. It was sort of in the back of my mind and interesting. But then I found myself signing up for a listening role in the volunteer sector. And the training there just kept bringing back to mind the NLP stuff. And sort of from there, the interest rekindled, and I reattended the training, popped along to another course, and it, together with the listening volunteer work and re-engaging with that, it just sort of came together in my head that this was the way I wanted to go. It's very hard to explain, actually, but a lot of chance.
And before that, you'd not really had any exposure to, other than, as you say, the corporate world can sometimes say you can have a mentor or somebody that will partner, but you'd not had a coach in your corporate world, had you?
No, nothing like that.
Yeah, I think it's different. I think certainly my experience when I worked were certain more senior people would be allocated a mentor, and that was because they were on like perhaps a career progression path, or they were looking to develop them into the next senior management. But my experience of it is it's not true coaching. It was very much around get you to the next job, the succession plan. Yeah. There was very much company agendas sat underneath that, whereas of course what you've seen is it's all about the person, isn't it? It's all about that advancement and learning and taking yourself through that process.
Yeah, I mean, one definition of sort of NLP was the study of subjective experience, and that really sort of resonated, trying to get a better understanding of how you're seeing the world and why you see it like that, and then starting to apply that to others, the things you start to learn about yourself, let alone other people.
Yeah.
It becomes a little bit mind-blowing, actually.
Yeah, it does. And I think that the more that you think that perhaps you're having a conversation about somebody else, certainly from my perspective, I find myself thinking, well, I do that as well, or that's probably true of me. And the way that I might question somebody and ask where they're going, I'm sort of thinking, I know the answer to this because I've experienced similar, or I do the same, or I have the same things showing up, and it never ends. I don't think that journey and that exploration.
No, never.
So you've worked with me for a little while. So let's start with that perspective first. As a coachee, describe how that feels. How is it to be coached? Because there's people in here that understand the principle of it. Probably we've talked about some of the benefits, but what does it feel like to be coached?
In some ways, it's a little bit scary. There's the feeling of being under this big spotlight. You know, it's all about you. So that can take some getting used to. But the thing about a coach or a good coach is that there is never judgment. There's never criticism. It's just about understanding and prompting you to dig deeper, whether it's into how you feel, what you want, you know, the way you're looking at the world. So because it's quite inward looking in that way, it's quite easy to sort of forget the spotlight's there and just follow on from where the questions are taking you.
Yeah. When you first went into a session to be a coachee, what were some of the emotions going through your mind when, like, first time, this is my first session? What are you doing? Yeah, and totally, I can totally relate to that. I was really nervous, didn't know what to expect, thought this is going to be tough. You know, I'm gonna go through a bit of a ringer. And then what about afterwards? How did you feel when it was done, that initial session?
There's a sense of relief that you've done it. I feel after every session there's a lot of processing to do, because every session, whether it's with you, and I've also signed up with a life coach, done a lot of investing with me this year. And some of the work I do in my coaching training group, and in that area we have practice sessions. And every time I'm in a session like that, I come away with something different, a different way of looking at things, you know, a question that I'm trying to answer for myself. So it's satisfying sounds like the wrong word, because if you're still asking questions and thinking things through, but there's that sense that you're making progress, you're moving forward, you're learning.
Yeah, and because you don't necessarily know the answers immediately, it's often a good thing, isn't it? Because it gives you that prompt to ponder on something or explore it a little bit further, play with a concept, and then when you do get there, it's almost like, it is that relief hits in, doesn't it? Oh, there we go, I've hit it now. And I think the difference for me is about I'm not great at being told something. I need to find and explore, and even if it's a sort of fairly fundamental theory that where there's a right or a wrong, if I'm just told 2 + 2 = 4, that won't stick. But going through the process to actually do it yourself means it's more meaningful for you, isn't it?
Yeah, working out for yourself. If somebody just tells you, it doesn't resonate in the same way. And
did you feel as though it helped quickly? Was it like as soon as you started to see benefit, or was it a growth thing for you? How did you feel differently straight away, going, yes, this is brilliant, this is amazing?
It's a bit of both, because you get, you know, sometimes there'll be something which makes you go, wow, that's huge, but also obvious. Why didn't I see it before? And
Yeah.
and sometimes it's sort of little things, and you're just chipping away at an issue or an area that's a bit troublesome.
And sometimes these things are so deep-seated as well, aren't they? And you have no concept that actually you've been carrying this thing or this false belief or this thing that's holding you back around for a long, long time until you start to actually look at it. And then, oh, okay, right, yeah, that's not ideal. And it's not fixed then, is it? It's just more in focus a little bit more.
Yeah. It's sort of adjusting to a slightly different way of seeing yourself and how you interact with the world.
Yeah, which is big, given that we've influenced ourselves and others and had all our experiences that shape what we see and how we feel, how we behave over years and years. So yeah, absolutely. So describe your journey with me then. Where was it you started in terms of your position in life, your aims, your goals, and then where are you now? Because I think it's a fabulous journey, and for others to see that you've made such progress, it's a brilliant story. Big slurp of tea.
Yeah, my timing's impeccable, isn't it? So where was I? When I first saw your little live in the other group that we were both in, I had this idea that actually I would like to coach. The training that I'd been through, the way I felt I was developing, it was kind of, I want everyone to have a piece of this. It's brilliant. But it was, so there was a real passion to do it. And I felt that actually, the training I had the tools. So, and I had a great faith in those tools. So I thought, why not? But there was a rather wobbly level of self-belief and no real idea how to move forward. So that's kind of where I was. And it was a bit of a leap of faith, a bit more impetuous than I would usually be to sign up with you. And so it went from that, well, this is what I'd really love to do. This is what, it would be great if I could do this. Ideally, this is what I do. And it's gone through now to, this is what I am doing. I have a Facebook page, I have a website. I put in a form this morning for something and it said occupation, and I put life coach and sort of went, oh!
Yes.
Yeah, I am putting myself out there in a way that not all that long ago would have terrified me. Well, actually, it still does in a way, but I'm doing it.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine doing this just a few weeks ago.
Yeah, it's that difference of facing it and going, almost accepting that the fear is part of pushing yourself into that, and actually it's not big enough to stop you on your journey. Yeah, it's fabulous. It's amazing. And I think from my perspective, just to relay my version of your story, when we first spoke, it was very much, well, I've got these ideas, I've got this passion around wanting to help somebody. I'm not quite sure who yet. I'm not sure how I want to help them. I want to use the skills that I've acquired as a coach and as a listener to be able to enhance people's lives. And that was kind of all you came to me with,
wasn't it?
And the desire. But it wasn't clear that you had a timeline that you were aggressively chasing or a deadline to get to or anything of that nature. So, given that actually a lot of the steps we go through and the academy is the same, it's a journey of let's go from A to B, and there's the practical steps that we learn and the techniques that you pick up along the way. But then throughout all of that, we weave in is your head in the right space and what's holding you back, and let's get the mindset. So it's not a right, we're doing mindset this week and then that's it, we're leaving that because you'll have sorted that and now we're doing this. It's very much a mix of all of them. And
you've got to
say that again.
You've got to keep coming back to the mindset piece, because each new goal, each new challenge.
Yeah, and you think, well, I've brought that bit out, and I've had that sort of discussion with myself. So I'll pop that in a little pot, and now we'll move on. And then it comes back again, doesn't it? And yeah, each time. But then I watched you formulate more of a, well, actually, this is the shape of what I want to deliver. And then the ideal client work that we got through eventually was just phenomenal. The best description and connection with an ideal client I think I've ever seen. It was just beautiful. And now to know that you can speak emotionally to those people that you're wanting to reach out to, it's been fabulous to see how receptive you were. But it wasn't easy, was it? There was some weeks you struggled.
Yeah, I mean, 1 week in particular, I had a huge block, and I actually was on the point of saying, this was silly, this was all just a pipe dream, this isn't me at all. And then we had another session, and suddenly it was coming together. Quite a dramatic turnaround.
Yeah, huge. It was almost like block, and then whoosh, the floodgates just opened, and you'd got it, and then it fell into place really, really quickly. Yeah, no,
it was prompting.
Well, it was you that always done the work, though. It was you that dug deep when it wasn't naturally coming, and it was a bit more of a struggle. So, Pauline's just joined us as well. Good morning.
Okay.
So, in terms of the journey, what would you say was the biggest benefit as a coachee first? Let's look at you being coached. What was the biggest benefit for you, or is, as an ongoing?
As a coachee, the biggest benefit is the external input, the questioning, the prompts that make you think differently and challenge yourself and question how you're thinking, why you're thinking what you're thinking, and what serves you and helps. Because I'm a big one for reading self-help books, a little bit of Buddhist thought, stuff like that. And I found that incredibly helpful along the way. But there comes the point when you need something from outside. You get caught in your own little loops. And so somebody else challenging you, not giving you answers, not telling you to think in a particular way, but asking questions that make you think and go down different avenues. That's the major benefit. It sounds so simple,
but often the most meaningful things are at their core, but they're not easy to do. They're, like you say, the process of actually taking yourself through those thoughts. I think you'll only ever go so far when it's yourself, and you can use tools and you can use techniques, but how far can you really get it for yourself? So as somebody that coaches, what's the benefit to you? How do you feel when you take someone sort of the other way, you see somebody make those breakthroughs?
It can be really quite moving when you ask something. So somebody tells you something, you ask a question based around the words they've used, how they've said it, and it suddenly goes quiet, and they're staring up into space, and then the eyes are going, and you're seeing it. There's something happening here. Something's shifting, and that sense of them making progress and finding themselves in a lighter place, a clearer place, it can feel quite emotional, actually, very satisfying, quite emotional.
Yeah. And for me, it doesn't, big wins and small wins, they're all good, and just everybody's journey is different. And I think the small stuff that one person might think could be huge for someone else, and I perhaps attached too emotionally at times, and I think I see these little wins and people putting themselves out there, or yes, I've done this and I've achieved this, and it makes me feel just like a proud parent. And knowing that you've facilitated them doing something that they've wanted to do as well. And I keep coming back to that when I think about how I can take what I want to do out to more people, and well, I could this and I could this and I could this, and then I always come back to, will that enable that person in the same way? And if it won't, or I fear it might not enough, it just doesn't sit with me. And there's a whole plethora of debate around giving stuff away for free and putting sort of small value offers out that are like a worksheet and I've shied away from that because I just don't see how people are going to get that true, deeper move in their approach to something. And I think that's where the beauty is. That's where it lies, because you can self-help to a point. I mean, there's lots of us that would have done the self-help route with, there's all sorts available, isn't there? How would you compare that approach? So there's all sorts. Doing DIY, doing YouTube videos, meditation, questioning, using techniques that you can literally download. How would you put that alongside being coached?
When you're using self-help, I mean, I haven't really used anything from YouTube, but books and things like that, you've got more freedom to go where you want to, or to avoid where you don't want to go. I think when there's somebody else involved who's asking questions and noticing what you are saying, or perhaps more importantly, what you're not saying, how you're saying it, you can't hide from yourself in the same way.
Yeah, it's like the worst possible mirror, isn't it? That will keep digging until they can see you've gone deeper than you would have done on your own. Yeah,
and some of it is, I think we all have concerns about, areas of our personality or our innermost selves that we might not like, or that we maybe feel embarrassed or ashamed about, and you don't want to expose that to reaction. But in a coaching environment, there's never that judgment. And so to admit to what you see as a big flaw or failing or something not very nice about yourself, and just have acceptance of that, just curiosity, no judgment, that can be very liberating, actually.
Yeah, and there's not many spaces in our life where we can be sure enough to have that, is there? There's often some sort of agenda to where we show up and where we exist.
And also, if you kind of project a persona into the world to then try and tell people that's not quite who you are, that can be difficult. Whereas in a coaching relationship, it's usually there isn't that level of sort of personal involvement.
Yeah.
If you say it's cold or there isn't involvement, it's just different. They are less involved in your life. How you present yourself and people interact with you on a day-to-day basis that's not the same as with a coach.
No.
You have a little more freedom, really, to explore yourself without worrying about what the people who are used to knowing you in one way are going to think.
Yeah, it's the neutrality they bring almost, isn't it? There's no emotional tether to you, and I'm sure lots of us have got a confidant or somebody that we trust to have some of these conversations with, but if it's a best friend or it's a parent or it's a husband partner, they have that emotional tie to us, don't they? So actually they have their own requirements of you in a strange way. So
yeah, they're emotionally invested as well. So if you're talking about something that you are concerned might worry them or upset them, that triggers how you get that, affects how you're going to talk to them and what you're worried about triggering in them, let alone in yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's got its place, and I'd never say to people don't open up to those around you, of course, but it is a different, it's got a different place in your sort of general melee of various relationships in your life. So I think I've asked you everything. While we're on our last couple of questions, if anyone has got any questions and you're watching us live, type them in. I can see them. I can see the comments coming up. I can even tell who it is. So that helps. Yeah. So yeah, if you want to ask us either of us a question, then ask away in the comments, and I'll make sure, because you can't see them, can you, Kirsty?
I don't know. I don't think.
Okay, but I'll ask Kirsty. So then, just to sort of close this off, if someone that is sat out there now thinking, I've got this idea, I've got this thought, it's probably silly, I'm probably dreaming, why, I regularly have to pull myself back from my daydream of having my own business and following my dream. What would you say to them about sitting on that fence and being scared to take the leap? Because it is a step, it's a psychological step, it's an investment in time, financially, to take that journey. What would be your advice now, having taken the leap and being on that journey?
Get yourself a business coach. That's an investment, but if you're going to succeed, you have to invest. And if you're running your business, you need to invest in you in order to invest in the business. So if it's something you feel passionate about, that you really want to do, then why not? What have you got to lose when it comes down to it? You're going to wake up in aged 80 and look back, I always wished I'd tried that. Really? Try it.
Yeah. And you learn along the way, don't you? It's more, there's more to changing direction in your life, developing your own business, taking your life in that route. There's more than just, I want to earn X so I can pay the bills. And when I allowed myself to step into that, that's when things seem to sort of change for me, because I'd just gone from a corporate, I go to work, get paid, that I use the money to do this. Suddenly I was looking at something that I felt passionate about, I enjoyed. I've still got bills to pay, so it's not a case of, well, I would do this for free, but it's not just about the money anymore. It's that journey, and it's that huge satisfaction from seeing people achieve what their dreams are.
I mean, we have to spend a lot of time working. So in an ideal world, you're going to enjoy what you do. And then every day you're getting up and having a good time. That's got to be the dream, surely. Yeah. So if there's something you think, this is what I really want, this is what I think about when I'm daydreaming, then why not give it a chance?
And it doesn't have to be hard all the time, does it? I think I absolutely have got that story of people that work for themselves, that build their own businesses. They must have to work every hour God sends. They must have to make sacrifices. They this, they the other. And I heard stories like, well, no new business will make any money for the first year. And all of these sort of almost like myths and stories that you absorb become your reality. And then, of course, you lean into those because that must be true. We won't make any money for a year. But the truth is, it's all up to you, isn't it? It's up to you how hard it feels. It's up to you how hard you make it for yourself. And how you show up in your business is entirely up to you, and building that balance. And that's liberating. It's hugely liberating to leave those stories of, I trade my time working for someone else for the money that I spend, and the harder I work, the more money I earn for them, often not even for you. So it's a very different approach to working life.
It is, and there's lots of, the joy of the internet, there's lots of groups and communities out there of people who are going to be doing what you want to do. So we don't have to settle for the generic, a business will never make money its first year, which tends to come from somebody who isn't doing that or hasn't done that, and probably doesn't know the area you're working in anyway. So go and find out from the people who do it, who do know it.
Yeah, and there is always another way, isn't there? And those people are probably making those statements because they attempted it, and then it's an excuse. Oh, I didn't this, but there was a whole heap of another story behind it as well. Fabulous.
You don't have to risk everything. You can take your time. You can research and investigate.
Yeah.
Day job, strike you off. Maybe it will be hard to get going. Maybe it will be a lot of hours. But if that's what gets you to where you want to be in the long run, then you make good decisions about what you want to commit.
And if it's fun along the way, then hard work. It is hard work, or is it true that hard work isn't fun? there's an argument of, well, is that a story as well? No, brilliant. Thank you. Well, that is all my questions. Nobody's asked us anything, so I won't leave it open too long because we'll sit just rabbling. So if anyone has got any questions that watches on the replay, of course, type them into the same thread and I'll make sure that Kirsty and I see them, and we'll do our best to answer them in the messages. But thank you, Kirsty, so much for your time. That's been really good, and I hope for those that haven't necessarily had experience of coaching, just gives them a perspective of that both sides, and just the gift that it gives you as a coachee to really kind of go on that journey and take yourself forward to whatever your ultimate goal in life is going to be it your own business, be it that advancement, fulfillment, whatever it is. It's a beautiful thing. So absolutely. Brilliant. No more questions, so I will go, and thank you again for watching us live, or if you've catch the replay, and we will see you again soon. Thank you, Kirsty.
Thank you very much.